What does it really take to lead in today's world? Not the textbook answer, the real answer. That's what we're going to explore together. Welcome to the People Skills Advantage podcast, brought to you by the Bonita Owens Network. Now, the Bonita Owens Network is named after me. I'm Bonita Owens. And we are going to be talking about life and leadership. And for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you about me and what you can expect from the weeks to come. So this is the first podcast. I'm starting the YouTube channel. I'm starting the People Skills Advantage podcast, and I'm so very excited to be here with you, to be talking to you, to actually be doing this. It's been a long time coming. So I want to just give you a little bit about my story. I have a healthcare background. I was an occupational therapist by trade, and that's where my leadership development started to happen, and the things that I discovered about work and life, I would say. As you know, if you know anyone from healthcare, you may work in healthcare. You may have seen stories about healthcare. It's a stressful job. I didn't have one of the most stressful jobs. I think one of the most stressful jobs is people who work in the ER. I never worked in the ER. However, when you're dealing with people's lives and their livelihoods and their healing process, yeah, it can be a lot. So, and I believe that work and life are connected. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that later, about what I believe and why I'm doing this. I think it's really important to talk about the things. I want to talk about the things that I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about. And one of the things is that the mindset shift around work and around how life and work intertwine. I am an executive coach, facilitator, organizational development consultant, and I will say that in my work, one thing has definitely been consistent when I'm coaching leaders is that the challenges that show up in their work life show up somewhere in their home life, and vice versa. Because we're not different people. We may show different sides of ourselves, true enough, but we're the same, So I want to we're going to be talking about that. So if you are a mid to senior level leader who refuses to accept the fact that people should dread going to work on Mondays and be so excited to live for Fridays, you're in the right place, because I don't believe that that is how work should be. And that really is part of my mission, to help organizations create cultures where people are happy to be there. And they're not dreading Monday, and they're not living to last till Friday. Because if you think about it, you spend 40 hours plus of your days at work. That's really more than we spend with our children, with our spouses, our significant others, our families. 40 hours or more per week is a lot of time. And my philosophy or my thoughts is like, what if it could be a place that you are excited to go to every day? And I believe one of the keys to that is leadership. And it is how leaders and teams, right? How organizations can create those environments. And the other thing that I'm really passionate about is women in the workplace. There's so much that women have to deal with, right? In the workplace. And how can women show up as their best selves, right? And the other thing is, I believe that all industries right now are male dominated. So we talk about, women in male dominated industries. And really and truly, when you look at industries where there are more women, right? Say healthcare, education, for instance. When it comes to the decision makers, superintendents, or CEOs of healthcare organizations, they're still mostly men. So in my book, it's still a male-dominated industry. All industries are still male-dominated. And what does that mean? What does that even matter, right? Well, I say that to say that there are still things that women are navigating through. And mid to senior level women leaders are navigating through. Career development, promotion, being seen, being confident. All the things that I've coached women professionals around for the last 8 years. So all of that, all the things we're going to be talking about. Okay, so I kind of skipped over a little bit because I want to tell you a little bit about me. As I said, I was in healthcare. I'm an Army spouse, in and out of the workforce, because if you don't know, when you're in healthcare, you need a license. And for many professions, you need a state license. And so every time we moved to a different state, I had to get a different license. And so that was a bit of a pain, but I loved what I did. And I helped people to be their best. So if you don't know what an occupational therapist is, let me tell you. And the reason why this matters is because it ties to what I'm doing now. The word occupation means daily living, actually. So when you think of, what occupation that you are, what do you do, right? People say, what do you do? What's your occupation? That means, what do you do? What's your daily living? So what I would do is work with people who either had surgeries, hip surgeries, shoulder surgeries, knee surgeries, or maybe they were injured through a stroke or a vehicle accident, right? Brain injuries. And I also work with children with developmental delays, or children who were born prematurely. And I loved what I did, because to see someone that was where they are when they came to me and to be better when they leave just filled my heart. I love to see progress. And so I loved what I did. Love working with children. Love working with adults who were at a stage where they left differently than they came. But I always knew that there was something more for me. And I went on a quest to find out what that is, and discovered that coaching is something, in a sense, that I've done all my life, that I've supported people who were challenged, because I've always looked at ways, or invested my time reading books, watching videos, and how I can be the best version of myself. And I would share that with friends. And then through my career, having leading teams, leading small teams, being in leadership roles with organizations, nonprofit organizations, being in leadership roles, even in church, I learned a lot. And I learned the value and the importance of leadership and how leaders can make or break an atmosphere, you know? And so what I've learned is that our work impacts our lives so much, and the people that we work with impacts our lives so much. People don't quit jobs, they quit managers is one of the sayings that I tend to agree with, because the culture and how we're treated and the experience really affects you and I, whether we know it or not. And you probably do know that it affects you. It affects how you show up at home with your children, right? With your family. It affects how you show up at work. And so what I really want to do is to talk about how to create those cultures that are inviting, that are nurturing, that are energizing. And you know what that does? That really has a ripple effect. It has an effect on your family. It has an effect on your neighborhood. It has an effect on your environment. And it has an effect on your health and well-being. So that is why I am here. Life is work, work is life is my motto. And I want to help you live a better life at work and at home, pretty much. And we're going to be talking about different things that surround that, right? So that is the basic premise. So about the network. So the network is on YouTube, and I will have different things going on there in terms of content and videos. This is the People's Advantage. And so let me tell you why People's Advantage. So this is another aspect of leadership that I think is so very important, and what I've seen through my experience in working with organizations is that a lot of times the people who know a lot of facts and figures are the ones who are championed. They're the ones that people think, oh my gosh, they're so smart. They're so amazing. And those same people are not good with people. They're not good with teams. They're not good leaders. And what I see time and time again, and I know you have too, is that people who are smart, who are talented in what they do, are rewarded by being promoted to leader. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of organizations make, because just because you're good at your job, just because you're an expert in the doing, in the implementation, does not mean at all that you are good at being a leader, that you are good at managing other people. It's a different skill set. And so you have these people who are brilliant, and yet they aren't good people leaders. They aren't good people managers. They don't have people skills. And I believe that it is something that is developed. Certain people, I believe, are born with characteristics that make good leaders, and they have an advantage. And I think there are certain people that can be developed to be good leaders. So people skills is a thing that tends to be overlooked. Why is that? Because if a manager has good people skills, there aren't many problems. And so if there aren't many problems, they tend to be overlooked. Those of you who have good people skills, good management skills, you tend to be overlooked because there's no problems or little problems, or you know how to handle the problem. Those of you who don't have good people skills or who are struggling with people skills, right? You may be championed for your expertise. And nobody talks about the fact that you, and if you're listening, what happens is the people who might need to listen to this the most may not be listening, right? You probably have pretty good people skills and you want to know how to develop them, right? Be even better. Or maybe there's some other challenges that you have. So at any rate, I think what happens is they're championed for their expertise, and yet they're wreaking havoc in their departments because they're not good people leaders. And they call a lot of these soft skills, which kind of irks me a little bit because it almost insinuates that it's not important. People skills are very important. And we're going to talk about some statistics when it comes to retention, right? When it comes to lack of communication, when it comes to psychological safety, right? That's a new term, relatively new term that has come into the marketplace. All of these things are so very important to make positive work cultures. And they tend to be sidestepped a little bit because the people who are experts are applauded. And the people who have people skills, maybe not so much. So I want to promote people skills as an advantage. Because if you can learn people skills, you can learn the stuff that's in the handbook, right? Now, I'm generalizing just a little bit, but you get my drift. So I want to promote people skills as a superpower, right? As a secret weapon, because I really believe that strong organizations, strong teams need leaders with strong people skills. And we're going to be talking about that and talking about some of the challenges that come into play when it comes to team dynamics, communication in organizations and management. I said a mouthful. So I hope you're excited. I hope this interests you. And if not, maybe somebody that you know it will interest. So let me give you a little bit about what you can expect from the network. So again, the Benita Owens Network is going to be on YouTube. The podcast will go out, Spotify, Apple, where are all the podcasts, which is called the People Skills Advantage podcast. And we're going to have some solo episodes, me talking to you just like I am right now about certain topics. They'll be short, 15, 20 minute, where you can listen to on the ride to home or work in the mornings. Talking about strategies, frameworks, mindset stuff, all the things. And we're going to also have some conversations with some leaders and talk about what makes them successful. And we're going to get into some deep dives into culture and leadership challenges that you're facing right now. And not only that, I like to give some practical, actionable steps that you can use on Monday mornings. So, or whenever you're listening to the podcast. So we're going to have a great time. And I have some other little, I have another little thing, couple of other little surprises, if you will. Something that I'm very excited about. I'm not going to spill it yet, but I haven't seen anybody do this. So there's going to be a segment that I think will be very, very beneficial and valuable to you as a leader in your organization. So get ready for that. That's just a little teaser. And I'm going to have a special guest to help me with that. So it's a segment that's going to probably run maybe every 6 weeks or so. We'll see. And if it's more popular, we'll do it more. So we'll see how that goes. New episodes every single week. And we'll be running on a season. So it won't be year round. We will have some seasons. I don't know yet when the season will end. I'll let you know. Some of this is building the plane as I fly it. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Authenticity is one of my values. So, hey, I'm letting you know. But I will be, there'll be a start and end time, and then you'll be able to listen to the replays when we're on the episode. The show is on a down period. Okay. Here's my commitment to you, though, that, I'm not going to be talking about anything that I'm not passionate about, that I haven't experienced or read about or coached around. And when it even comes to read about, right, that it needs to be something I'm connected to, right? And I'm committed to talking about things that really are important to you. So having said that, I welcome and encourage you to reach out to me. If there's some topics, questions that you want to know the answers to, right, that you might think that I can answer for you, I want to invite you to send me an email at bonita@bonitaowens.com, bonita@bonitaowens.com, and I'll put that in the show notes. Reach out to me, and would love also to hear your feedback about every podcast that you listen to. So this is the first one. I'd love to hear what you're most excited about. Oh, and I will be doing some book reviews. I love to read, and I often refer my clients and, reference books for them to read. So I will be doing some book reviews as well. So these are books that I really like, what I've read, and I will kind of give some highlights and maybe, some things you can walk away with and say, hey, it's worth a read. So I'm excited about that as well. Okay, so I am over my 20 minutes of time. I'm so excited about being with you every single week. And I look forward to going on this journey with you and pushing forth the need for positive work cultures and equipping leaders to be able to lead their teams in a way where people are excited to go to work on Mondays and content to leave on Fridays. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.